Hey guys, in this video I'm going to talk about Aave, the borrowing platform, and why I think it's useful to look at it as a leverage platform. So I made this Google spreadsheet, and we've got a couple columns, actually two values that you can fill in yourself. So your initial investment, which I put as 1,000%, and then your borrow ratio, which I went ahead and put at a clean 50%. So then we calculate the amount that you borrowed, which would be 500 in this case. So if I changed the initial investment, I'll update the amount borrowed. I can also change the borrow ratio. But in this example, I'm going to have it at $1,000 with a borrow ratio 50%. And then I went ahead and made these columns. So we got the HODL percentage versus the HODL dollar amount, which is change. And then these two columns are if you used Aave. So these two not using Aave, and these two with using Aave. So in this example, let's say that you bought $1,000 worth of ETH and you just held it and the price didn't move. Well, after that amount of time, you still have the same amount, $1,000. Likewise, if the price went up 10%, you would now have 1,100. Went down 10%, you would have 900. And I went ahead and made rows for all the way up to 400%. You would have 5,000. So if you didn't use Aave and you just held, this would be your result if this was the percentage moving. Now in this column, borrow DAI and convert to ETH. This column represents what would happen if you were to borrow $500 of DAI from your $1,000 investment in ETH, and then you converted this $500 of DAI into ETH and then held. So what this means is if the price of ETH didn't move, you would end up in the exact same boat. But if the price of ETH went up 10%, you would end up better using this situation than if you just held it. You would end up $50 better. However, if ETH went down 10%, you would end up $50 worse. And I went ahead and plotted this out all the way up to 400%, where you can see it starts to make a noticeable difference. And then in this column, I went ahead and put what the percent change is. So it's basically, instead of a 10% loss, it's a 15% loss. Instead of a 20% loss, it's a 30% loss. And same with the gains. 10 versus 15, or 20 versus 30, or 100 versus 150. So you might notice that the 150 correlates with the 50% borrow ratio. So if it was 60% and ETH went up 100%, your Aave loan would go up 160%. Move that back to 50. And now I'm going to bring in a couple more columns that I made. And this is basically the delta. So this is which one's better, HODL or use Aave. If the price doesn't move, it doesn't matter. If the price drops a lot, well, now you're in the negatives with the Aave. But you would be liquidated first, but just for showing kind of how this works. The price, if you think the price of ETH is going to go up a lot, say 200%, well, now your delta is 100%. So all this is basically to say that using Aave is basically leverage. If the price goes up, you do even better. If the price goes down, you do even worse. So you're basically increasing your gains or losses based on your speculation in the future price of ETH or whichever asset you decide to use. So now let me go over to Aave and actually show you how to do this, because just looking at a spreadsheet is probably kind of confusing. So I'm at app.aave.com and I'm on the Aave V2 market. Going to connect my MetaMask. I'm connected. And since I'm bullish ETH, the first thing I'm going to want to do is deposit some ETH as collateral. So I'm going to scroll down to Ethereum, press on that, and press deposit. I'm going to put in 0.15 ETH, which is about $334, and go ahead and deposit. Confirm that. Okay, so now I've deposited my collateral, which is ETH, because I want to, because I'm bullish ETH. And now I'm going to go over to DAI and borrow DAI, because I think the price of ETH is going to go up compared to DAI, US dollar. So I can't borrow yet, so let me see what happened. So I had to give it a couple seconds to register my deposit. But now if I press on DAI, I can see that I can now borrow, and that I can borrow 80% of the total collateral. I'm just going to go ahead and do 50% to be on the super safe side. I'm going to press borrow, and then I'm going to do say 150. It's a pretty good health factor, 1.84. Continue. You go with the variable APY. Continue. Looks good. Notice health factors in green. That's because that means it's unlikely for me to get suddenly liquidated, and there's like a small liquidation, or like 5% liquidation fee if you get liquidated. So it's kind of a topic for another video, but that's the reason why I want to be in the green. I'm going to press borrow. Confirm. Okay, that was successful. And now my last step is to convert this DAI, which I'm not bullish on, into ETH, which I am bullish on. So to do that, I'm going to go to zapper.fi/exchange. I'm going to select my DAI, and I'm going to select ETH, and max all the DAI into ETH. Zapper determines that Uniswap v3 is the best place to do that. I'm going to approve it. Confirm. Okay. And now I press exchange. And confirm. That is successful. So now I am leveraged on my ETH position. So if the price of ETH goes up, hopefully it goes up 10% or more, and I will receive the equivalent of a 15% increase. Hope this makes sense to you guys. I'll post a link to this spreadsheet in the description, and hope you guys enjoy. Bye-bye.